The Spiderman mod built into the base game. Spiderman is one of my favourite BoneWorks mods, and it would just be incredible if you didn't need to mod to have it. On top of this, a grappling hook added to the base game as well. Multiplayer. Let's face it, Entanglement and the BoneWorks multiplayer mod is amazing, but not the easiest thing to try and convince your friends to download and then show them how to set it up. Imagine if you could just join your friend's lobby and play some campaign, custom maps, and even some team deathmatch and multiplayer game mode. If BoneLab had a VR chat style social VR, it would take over. The physics are just light years ahead of VR chat. Unfortunately, the devs have already confirmed there won't be multiplayer without modding, but we can dream. More enemy types to spice up each encounter. I'm thinking blade and sorcery style enemies. The BoneWorks enemies have a lot of insane details, like when you can injure parts of it, and that affects the way they can use their body. And the head crabs are just an amazing enemy. But let's face it, the others aren't too hard to kill and they don't really dodge, so an improvement there would be much appreciated. I'd really love a full dismemberment system and proper gore system. Unfortunately, it looks like this won't be in the game though. And while we're talking about blade and sorcery, can we please get some magic? The utility gun is one of the greatest parts of BoneWorks, but it would be amazing with some upgrades. I want photos of the utilities on top of the text. That would look something like this. As well, a favorites menu and potentially a lot more sorting options. As well as a search option. I have over 300 hours in BoneWorks and I know my way around the utility gun, and it's one of the greatest features. Finding a custom weapon when you have over 100 installed isn't the best experience, but some additions would make it a lot better. I think I would even prefer just photos instead of the text. Real parkour. In BoneWorks, when you're next to a wall, your legs just dangle. In BoneLab, the body OK adjusts to what you're doing, like climbing. How cool would it be if you can run like you can in Mirror's Edge? It would remove a lot of the jankiness of the gameplay. I have a lot of hope this will be in the game. Think if you jump next to a wall, you can wall run and then jump off the wall. That would just be a lot of fun. We know that there is a parkour mode in BoneLab, so I do have a lot of hope for this feature. We would love custom weapon attachments that you can take on and off and change on the fly, just like you can in hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. You can do this with BoneWorks mods, usually by gripping the grip button, but I want it in the base game. In terms of gadgets, I would love to see a weld gun included in the base game. I've had just too much fun with the modded one in BoneWorks. I would also love this thruster mod implemented into the base game. And some more physics tools. I'm sure the people at Stress Level 0 could come up with some better physics tools than I can. 6 degrees of freedom on foot movement, so you can have way better movement and better control where you're going. BoneWorks has 4 degrees of movement. The 6 degrees of movement are forward and back, left, right, up, down, pitch, roll, and yaw. One of the best mods for content creators is a Camera Plus mod, which lets you change the FOV, go third person, and place the camera down. Built-in camera controls so you can fly around and change your default FOV easily would be the dream. On the topic of creator tools, we know the Quest Pro has mouth tracking and eye tracking, so if this was built into your player's character, this would take machinimas to the next level. Better mod support. Let's face it, BoneWorks is not the easiest game to mod or to make mods for. Some proper mod tools and an in-game modding downloads would go a very long way. Anything to remove the need to take off the headset. Furthermore, if there was a Forge style editor so you didn't need to use Unity, that would also be amazing, as well as a fully implemented file share system. I want to be able to do everything in BoneWorks and not need to use my computer every 5 minutes. A story mode that makes sense and isn't hard to follow. Let's be honest, the BoneWorks story, while incredibly interesting, is a bit hard to follow during the game. Just my opinion, but a more linear, well put together story would go a long way. Don't get me wrong, I love the story and find it extremely satisfying and fascinating, but I just think it could be a lot better. I'd also like some quest hand tracking built into the game. Procedurally generated maps as well. Let me know what you want to see in BoneLab in the comments below.